Hey everybody, it's Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com, and this is part 2 of our Eric Johnson style chords lesson. And today we're going to talk about how he voices power chords and add 9 chords and sus4 chords to really give it that kind of almost impressionistic sound to his chord playing. These chords especially, even more than the ones that we covered in the first lesson with the open voice triads, these chords really kind of epitomize his sound and how he really gets that kind of floating kind of quality to his chords. So let's talk about this real quick. Now what I've done here is I've just got another little piece of music that I wrote just for this lesson, and it's harmonizing a melody using chord shapes that he uses. So first we're going to go over the chord shapes and basically how you can use them, a simple way of applying this stuff to create those kinds of things. And then we'll break down what I did with that piece of music. So we just want to talk about this harmonizing notes on strings. So we have a melody note. So if we have a melody note, if you look at the notes, if you download the tab PDF, which you can get at the link right beside in the description of the video, and you can follow along a lot easier here. So we have a note on the first string. So what we're going to do is he kind of uses 3 shapes predominantly that are power chord or add 9 shapes to harmonize a note that's on the first string. This is not complete by any means, but he really does favor these shapes. And here they are. The first one we're going to have here is this top note. We're going to harmonize it with this chord shape. Okay, so basically what this ends up being is an A major, an A power chord with the 9th added on top. So I'll call it an A5 add 9. Okay, so that's a very popular chord shape for him that he uses a lot. Then we can harmonize this with a different kind of chord. We can do it with a B power chord. So this is the root, and this is the root note, and this is the 5th. And then another one he likes to use a lot is a power chord from a 5th string root note on this top. This is the top melody note though. And this is an E power chord, by the way. So this is kind of how he likes to voice his power chord shapes and his add 9 shapes. Now he's still using that pianistic kind of comping style, hybrid picking down here on the right hand. But that's all I really want you to think about this. Don't think about it too much and theoretically or whatever. Just use it by ear. Know that when you have a note on the melody string for now, the first string for now, use it as the top note in one of those chord shapes. Okay? Let's go to the second string. We have a melody note on the second string. We're going to use this G here. We can do this. This is the add 9 shape on harmonizing the second string root melody note. This ends up being an F5 add 9. And just follow along in the PDF. You'll be able to really track down what I'm doing easier. And then I can just take this finger over here to the 6th string, and it becomes a C power chord. His power chord shapes are really kind of spread out more across the guitar, which really opens up the sound a lot. Then off this note, I'm going to move up here to this D at the 10th fret, and then this D here at the 7th fret on the 3rd string, and then still holding this at 8th fret with my 2nd finger on the 2nd string. Now what that's going to be is basically a D suspended 4, okay? You can kind of look at it a couple different ways. It's just 2 Ds and a G, so most people would see that as just sus4. And then move this over and we have a G power chord. Just move this over to the 5th string. So those are kind of the 4 chord shapes he likes to use a lot when he's harmonizing a note on the 2nd string. All right, and then we have a couple when he doesn't do much of harmonizing notes that happen on the 3rd string. He sticks with the 1st and 2nd string predominantly, but he will come down here with a melody note every once in a while, and he uses kind of these 2 shapes. This is just a power chord shape. That's what root 5th shape or whatever. That's the notes that make up a power chord. This is a B power chord. And then come down here, same B, and we're going to do an A add 9 shape. If you know Eric Johnson's style, you can hear that. Okay, so that's covering the shapes that we're doing. Now let's talk about how I applied it to this little melody there. But first of all, just write a melody. So I wrote a melody that was like this. All right, so I just wanted to harmonize it. So I just you could just experiment. So that's the first half of it, just 3 different notes really. So that was the first string, all these notes on the first string. So I'm going to either harmonize this with this shape, this, or this. Those 3 shapes. I chose to stick with this one. And then when I went up to here, I used the same one again. It's a really solid sounding shape. That's why I used it, just to start it. And then when I went back down to this 10th fret again, well, instead of harmonizing it with that chord again, I harmonized it with the shape that has that all the way down to the 5th string root note. Kind of opened up the sound a bit. And then we had the note here on the 7th fret, and I decided to use, I could have used this one, this, or this, but I wanted this because it gave it this kind of floating sound, like we're not done yet. You know, it's not a complete and like a finalized sound like this one is. So we got this. And then we're to the 2nd string to finish out the melody. So I just experimented a little bit and decided to use this chord shape over it. Little add 9. And then when I came up here, I used the power chord shape. And then back to this note, instead of harmonizing with this one this time, I harmonized it with this G power chord shape. And then ended with the same shape down here on the E. So all together. So it's just kind of showing you can easily put this kind of stuff together using some simple chord shapes that I have written out in that PDF, and just create a melody first and then just use that melody note as the top note in one of those chord shapes, depending on what string the melody note falls on. And just by using your ear, not even really knowing the names of the chords, if it's an A at 9 or B power chord or sus4 or whatever, you could still create some really cool phrases just using your ear. I will say one quick thing about his chord style that you'll see in the tab PDF. He likes to do a lot of things that are syncopated. So these aren't necessarily always falling on the beats. So that one right there, that chord right there happened on the upbeat. So if you follow along with the tablature, there's a lot of those chords are being hit and held, and they're not happening right on downbeats. Okay? So I just wanted to bring that to your attention about the syncopations and stuff. But anyway, mix all that up together, play the material, learn these chords, memorize the chord shapes, and start trying to create your own little musical phrases using this, and you'll be surprised how quickly you can kind of cop an Eric Johnson sound pretty quickly. All right, I'm going to continue with these the Eric Johnson style chord studies. We're going to do our last lesson, the next lesson. So have fun with this. Go to Guitar Lessons 365 and support the site in any way you can. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.